Welcome back to the next match review in WrestleMania history, the fourth match of WrestleMania I. Again, these are my opinions. If you have something you feel is different, please feel free to comment below in the comments. The fourth match on the card for WrestleMania I was a peculiar one. Two young stars who one could argue were both being positioned at the time for a big future. Brutus Beefcake with his manager Luscious Johnny Valiant versus David Sammartino with his father Bruno, the living legend Bruno Sammartino. This match sets some firsts in WrestleMania history, especially the outcome and the fact that there are two managers. Please let us know in the comments what you think. Here's my opinions on this match. As the Steamboat Bourne match ends, we go to Alfred Hayes once again as he starts introducing the next match. Brutus Beefcake and Luscious Johnny Valiant cut in front of Hayes, and Valiant says something to Hayes. Then Matt Bourne, making his way back after his match, stops himself from cutting in front of Hayes. Tremendous production value there, I said sarcastically. Thankfully, the WWF would learn. Then back to the locker room. David Sammartino and his father, the living legend Bruno, are up first, and they mention how Beefcake took out Big Jim. That would be Hillbilly Jim when he broke his leg. One has to wonder if Sammartino would even be in this spot had Jim been healthy, or would it have been Hillbilly Jim versus Brutus. Bruno also warns Valiant not to stick his nose in his son's business. And then Valiant talks and says he will stick his nose wherever he wants. He turns it over to Beefcake in one of the weirdest moments in WrestleMania history. Beefcake raspberries the mic as Valiant says he won't let his man speak. Beefcake and Valiant are wearing yellow backstage, but they enter wearing red. Actually, if you look at this picture, the outfit that Beefcake has on underneath is like a purple and black, but their entrance gear was red. One has to... why the outfit change? Sammartino gets to make his televised entrance in WrestleMania history. When I say the first televised entrance, I mean it's the first time the camera's actually paying attention to the guy coming down. It's the first as Sammartino comes with his father. No music yet. So there's still that one to happen. As the match gets underway, Ventura and Monsoon both put over how good Bruno looks. But then Jesse asks if it's possible that Beefcake could be Valiant's son. Why was Beefcake introduced from parts unknown? Is it that a male stripper has that much suspense? Remember, his gimmick is never actually mentioned to be a stripper, but with the name Beefcake and the look, you just get that impression that his gimmick, that he was a male stripper. Because it's basically what Beefcake's original character was made to look like. The second longest match on the card, they go back and forth and are pretty entertaining. The finish is convoluted, and as I will always say, stupid. Beefer throws David out of the ring and Valiant body slams him. An interesting note here is Ventura says it's on the concrete, and I'm going to expose the business of it here. It was March 31st in a hockey arena. The concrete is buried under ice. They instead place a covering called Homosote, which is an absorbent board, and makes the slam softer than it would obviously be on concrete. Bruno then tosses Johnny Valiant back in the ring, and what's called a schmoz ensues, meaning a double DQ. Then after the ring is cleared, Gorilla and Ventura recap what we have just seen so far. Post-match musings. I give this match itself a 3 out of 5, but the ending basically sets up a later feud and doesn't do what we have come to know from WrestleMania's, end the feud. David Sammartino never lived up to his father's name. He was 24 at the time and is still alive. He was once arrested in Watertown, New York for being involved in a bar fight, and he also admitted to using steroids, which would end up getting him disowned by his father, because Bruno lived a life of health and natural organic exercise, and he didn't approve of taking any kind of artificial steroids. Also in 1985, later on in the year, he would submit in the ring to a jobber named Ron Shaw and quit the company. This is his only WrestleMania appearance. Bruno, however, will be back at WrestleMania II. Bruno, one of the greatest WWF, that's Worldwide Wrestling Federation champions of all time, was 49 years old and would be inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2013. He died of natural causes in 2018 at the age of 82. Brutus Beefcake, then aged 27, will go on to be one of the biggest names in this era of the WWF, inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2019, and he is still alive. Johnny Valiant, Luscious Johnny V, was at the age of 38. He was an active wrestler at the time and at times teaming with brothers Jimmy and Jerry, but in 1981, he wasn't an active wrestler. He was a former active wrestler, at times teaming with brothers Jimmy and Jerry, but in 1981 retired to become a manager. He died 14 days before Bruno did in 2018 in a car accident. This match and feud could have been so much more, but it wasn't. Let me know your thoughts in the comments of what you think of this fourth match in WrestleMania history between Beefcake and Sammartino, and also if you want me to rank them, or to put the matches in an all-time ranking from one being the best through whatever. Let me know. Until next time, look forward to enjoying this year's WrestleMania.